Awethu Mata Arona Matimba Manda, all power. Welcome, comrades. We're happy that we're all here to celebrate 108 years of the ANC. It's an old organization. It's the oldest organization in the country. It's the oldest organization in the continent. It has a history to refer to. When people don't want us to refer to that history, they want to deprive us of what we've achieved over many years. You're all welcome. Thank you for sending us messages of hope for Christmas and New Year. You are welcome. Now we're going to do two things. We're going to sing the national anthem. We're going to sing the national anthem. Where is the Obi? Amadoda, tulane mingwazi. Take off your heads. Take off your heads. I know it's hot. Thank you. Buses. National anthem. Where is it? Okay, you want them?
Vamos cavatila, vamos cassivi. Vamos backup flag.
Amandla, masihlale phansi. Let's take our seats. Let's take our seats. The chaplains, come close to me. Where are the chaplains? Who is the chaplain?
Sophie the brain, Kiabarangwe, Mutogwa, and Mlangeni, queens and kings of our nation, veterans of our struggle, aspirant Reverend Cyril Ramaphosa, the leadership and membership of our glorious movement. When we arrived in this province of Mama, Mita, Superepere, and Papa Sol Seki Supply Chief, the province was caught in one of the worst drought and severe heat wave in decades. The women, men of the cloth I am presenting to open the 108th birthday celebration of our glorious movement, the African National Congress, prayed hard to the Queen of Heaven, Muariwe Denga, and her son for rain. The heavens opened last Monday, and in some areas more rain was recorded this week than the entire rainfall for 2015. Comrade, Interfaith Council. All of you for your 2 minutes prayer. Bishop Lupuan.
Masithandazeni sithandzele President yoMzansi Afrika. Thixo somandla olawula zonke izizwe usiyalela ngokuphokekileyo kuwe. Siyakuthandaza ngenhliziyo iphela ukuba ugcine isitaka sakho iPresident yoMzansi Afrika ukuze igunya oyinike lona isoloko lisebenzisa njengoxolo lwehlabathi liphela nokukhuseleka nodumo nenhlalonhle yelilizwe elungele keke yakho engcwele ngayo Yesu Kristu Nkosi yethu. Amen.
This is a message from the Jewish community to the ANC on the occasion of the 108th anniversary of its founding. Due to today being the Jewish Sabbath, the spiritual leader and chairman of the Northern Cape Jewish community, Adrian Horwitz, have asked us to kindly read on behalf of the Jewish community. It has been said that something special happens each year on your birthday. The same energy that God invested in you at birth or the beginning is present once again. So on the 108th anniversary of the founding of the ANC, we, the Jewish community of the Northern Cape, pray that God bless, protect, and uplift the President and Deputy President and all the officials and members of this glorious organization and infuse in them the very same commitment to unity and the defense of human rights and freedoms as inspired their very first leaders in 1912. We pray that they will be selfless and genuine in striving to unite the nation, and above all, that they will accept the higher authority of God in their lives and in the life of the nation, of the people of South Africa. Amen.
Let us pray. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم افتح أمورنا بالخير واختم أمورنا بالخير بيدك الخير والعافية إنك على كل شيء قدير. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا وجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى. سبحان ربنا رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
Jah Rastafari, King Haile Selassie I and Empress Menenai Selah. Jah Rastafari. Prince and princess, let us pray. Prince and princesses shall yard out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall stretch forth their hands unto Jah. O Jah of Ethiopia, and thy own divine majesty, the Arabs come into their hearts to dwell in the paths of righteousness. Lead thine eye, help thine eye to forgive that thine eye must be forgiven. Teach thine eye love and loyalty on earth that is in Mount Zion. Endure thine eye wise mind, knowledge and understanding to do thy will. Thy blessings unto I. Let the hungry be fed, the naked be clothed, the sick be nourished, the infant be cared for, and the aged be protected. Deliver us from the hands of our enemies, so that we must be fruitful in these last perilous days, when our enemies are past in decay, in the depths of the sea, in the depths of the earth, or in the belly of the beast, or in the lake of unquenchable fire. Grant thy and a place in the ever-living King, man. This I ask in thy great and thunderable name of the Most High Jah Rastafari, King Haile Selassie I the First. More fire!
Mama, sama itirapa. Tekun tek amko tekun sekian ka. Esi ayo sekian ko khaya karata hai. ANC ko puri hai ya karata. Deze agone agapwe kan niet zeggen toe hampe ga bego uit die yoga atakia kala komanda ka agapa kala in kom ba te to sambuya te nin esi to ba te platform ko tamate kya ta tamate kunya ko South Africa kiti ko na ba ko na ta do ko dia kamato marang ANC to sa kharota ha te to se kam ko ne te parte na parte ya kom ko jaro ko mu akubuka to jawata makam to ata ba jaro ko kunya awo ba do makto te mu te tiski to ko makto khamo mate ara khat khara ko ako te tsaka dik khadia go mandai ko kunya aya ta kunka khaut on kiti jara kara ko khiriyeti amen.
Nilavulavian, Nilmanilbenian, Halegal, Sodian, Hambalataduvan, Malasilambadi, Vashtivanenguvam, Malasilambadi, Vashtivanenguvam. Om Tirusitrambalam Om Bhurvua Swaha Tatsamitur Vadeyum Vargo Devashyanti Mai Yo Nam Prajodaya Om Bhurvua Swaha Tatsamitur Vadeyum Vargo Devashyanti Mai Om Tirusitrambalam. Please, God, help us stand united in South Africa, our land. We, as the Hindu community in South Africa, wishes the African National Congress a happy 108th birthday. We pray that with God's placed grace, our country and all who live in it shall be blessed. Vanakkam.
We have asked the Christians to stand together, and Pastor Lola Miles is going to lead us in Afrikaans prayer.
Vader, ons kom na U toe in die naam van Jesus. U is God die Vader, die Seun en die Heilige Gees. Niemand kom na die Vader behalwe deur die Seun Jesus nie. Here, 108 jaar was daar 'n ANC gebore. 83 jaar gelede, soos met David, het daar 'n profesie uitgegaan dat 25 jaar gaan die ANC lei. Ek wil vir u baie dankie sê, Here, omdat ek weet in die woord van Nehemia staan, verskillende mense het die muur gebou. In hierdie termyn van 25 jaar was daar verskillende presidente, maar ek wil ons president van nou voor die Here bring, en ek wil u vra dat hy hom sal salf en seën, soos Psalm 133 sê, van sy hoof tot sy voetsole, Here, dat hy hom sal toetrek onder die kosbare bloed van die lam, dat waar hy beweeg, dat hy sal weer die Bybel sê, waar hy sy voete neersit, dat die grond behoort aan hom. Seën die ANC, Here, dat hulle die Here sal ken in alles wat hulle doen. Ek vra dit in die wonderlike naam van die Here, met alle eer en danksegging. Amen en amen.
Amen. Comrade President, officials of the ANC, NEC of the ANC, the celebration of the 108 years birthday of the ANC is now officially opened. I'm going to ask Comrade Zamani to welcome us. But it is worth, before I do that, Zamani, to acknowledge that few parties in the continent are our guests. One, ZANU-PF has 2 representatives who have come to this celebration. MPLA has 3 representatives. BNP has 2 representatives. BDP has a representative. All Basotho Congress are here. Those are parties in the continent. I'm not going to talk about the guest of the president. I leave that to the president. Comrade Zamani, please welcome us.
Amandla. Amandla. Hallo Noord-Kaap, hallo. Hallo Noord-Kaap, hallo. Hoe gaan het Noord-Kaap, hoe gaan het? Ik kan niet horen, nie. Hoe gaan het Noord-Kaap, hoe gaan het? Baie dankie, voorzitter. Goeie Mandase. Ik wil eerst beginnen om groeten te maken voor de president van de ANC wat hier is. Ik zie ook onze de eerste minister van Ethiopië wat ook hier is samen met ons vandaag. Kan ons voor hem een lekker handenklap geven? Ik kan dat niet horen niet. Kan ons voor hem een lekker Noord-Kaap handenklap geven? De leiderschap van de Nationale Uitvoerende Comité van de ANC, hulle is allemaal hier. Vandaar hulle hier gekomen op maandag, het ons klomp reën gehad voor de hele week. Kan ons voor hulle ook een lekker handenklap geven? Hulle het met reën gekomen in de Noord-Kaap. Leiderschap van de South African Communist Party, de leiderschap van COSATU, de leiderschap van SANCO wat ook hier is. Ons het ook leiderschap van de ligas van de ANC wat hier is. Ons het is de 12 van de ANC, comrade Sophie de Bruin en comrade Andrew Mlange. Kan ons vir hulle ook 'n lekker handenklap gee? Die is nou die hooggesagte van die ANC. En dit is belangrijk dat as hulle met ons is, ons moet dit erken. Ons het ook leierskap hier from the Mass Democratic Movement, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and our faith-based leaders, comrades and friends. On behalf of the Provincial Executive Committee and the members of the ANC in the Northern Cape, we extend our hearty welcome to all of you, to our beautiful province. This is a province in which many giants of the struggle resided. Giants such as the first Secretary General, Saul Teki Shoplaki, Charlotte Maxeke, Professor Z.K. Matthews, Dr. Arthur Litele, Mayor Francis Bart, Ulysses Jorge Modise, Mitas Perepere, and many others. These are great leaders who served this movement with distinction. And they have also served the people of this country with distinction. We celebrate the 108th birthday with a somber mood after we received the bad news of the passing of one of our comrades, Archie Khomoli Molukas. He served the movement in various capacities in the National Executive Committee of the Youth League, and he was also a member of the National Working Committee of the ANC Youth League. We dip our revolutionary banner in honor of his service to the ANC and the broad movement. We welcome you to the land of Kgosi Kgaleshiwe and Kgosi Lukatyanki. They led brave struggles against colonial settlers such as the Pokwane and Langeberg rebellion of 1896. Kgosi Kgaleshiwe is one of the heroic figures who fought colonialism with steel and was always at the forefront of protecting the interests of the African people against British colonialists. It is in his footsteps that the likes of Saul Plaatje followed with the formation of the African National Congress in 1912 to fight colonial oppression and subjugation. Comrade President and the entire NEC members, ANC supporters and members, we welcome you to Kimberley, which through the discovery of diamonds provided the basis for industrialization of modern-day South Africa. As you have witnessed yourselves, we welcome you to a province of beautiful contrasts and immense opportunities. With renewed energy and eager, we commit to exploit these opportunities to fight poverty, unemployment, and inequality. We are also pleased that the presence of the NEC has brought rain to some parts of the province. But in some areas of the province, the drought continues with devastating impact to the agricultural economy. The 108th anniversary celebrations provides in the midst of all our challenges that indeed the journey towards a better life for all remains on track and that the struggle to unite the ANC is also solidly on track. The people of our province know that the ANC is the only hope for the realization of their aspirations, as it has been for the past 107 years of its existence. The people of the Northern Cape have faith in the ANC to build a modern, growing and successful province. Such a province provides economic opportunities and benefits for all our people. Our people, the sun, our land, our mineral endowment, the Vaal and the Orange rivers provides extraordinary opportunities for growing our economy. We welcome all of you to our province, knowing that you will enjoy the warm hospitality of the Northern Capers. Throughout this week, you would have realized the connection that our people have with the African National Congress. The PEC and all ANC structures in the province must build on this momentum and strengthen the interaction with the people. Let me invoke the memory of a great thinker, Frans Fanon, when he said, I quote, "The lack of practical links between leaders and the people, the laziness of leaders, the cowardice of leaders at a decisive moment of the struggle will give rise to tragic mishaps." I close quote. Comrade President, to avoid a tragic mishap, we must therefore do everything possible to remain amongst our people, know what matters in their lives, know their irritations and concerns. And this generation of leaders, led by yourself, must push with unparalleled courage and zeal the program for radical economic transformation. It is also incumbent on us to intensify our struggle to enhance the integrity of our movement by waging a decisive battle against corruption and plunder of the public purse. To succeed in the battle against corruption requires preparedness by individual leaders to wage this battle at a risk of personal loss and vilification. Comrade President, the next few months in this year of the decade should mark a year of self-revolution in the ANC, where every member of the ANC, rank and file, must undertake to do serious individual introspection on their individual conduct and attitudes towards the organization and the country. So each member must ask him or herself a difficult question, whether his or her conduct and articulation contributes to enhancing the integrity and pristine beauty of our glorious movement. This year of self-revolution should mark a period of fundamental change in how we individually conduct ourselves in the struggle to improve the quality of life of our people. It is self-revolution that will enable us to bridge the trust deficit between ourselves and the people. It is self-revolution that will enable us to wipe out political arrogance and criminal behavior in how we relate to the people of South Africa. With self-revolution, all the negative tendencies and shadow subcultures of factionalism and dishonesty will be undermined. It is through self-revolution that we shall renew our glorious movement. On behalf of the people of the Northern Cape and the Provincial Executive Committee, we extend our hearty welcome to all of you. Julle is hartelijk welkom in die Noord-Kaap. Almal is hartelijk welkom in die Noord-Kaap. Happy birthday ANC, happy birthday. Happy birthday ANC, happy birthday. Amandla.
Amandla. Mapolisa, allow people to go to the grandstand, please. Please. Allow them through to the grandstand, please. The African National Congress has a historic revolutionary alliance with its partners. We'll allow them to deliver messages of support. I must explain that Sango is not going to do that because we're still sorting out the problems in Sango. So we didn't want to complicate our celebration, but you must remember that the Communist Party is the longest standing ally of the African National Congress, is present. COSATU is a very long standing ally of the ANC because it's the legal replacement of SACTU. Sango, we united civics in 1992 to form Sango. Let's hope for a speedy process to reunify them. There are 33 embassies represented here today. We're not going to read them one by one. All of them are here. They are welcome here. And the entourage of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, you are welcome. Now, let's call on COSATU to deliver a message of support. Where is COSATU? Where is COSATU? Little permission. Okay, it's okay.
Amanda! Long live the African National Congress, long live! Long live COSATU, 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 long live! Philangona phakade, the South African Communist Party, philangona phakade. Mandibulele ithuba ndibulise umongameli ne-national office bearers, officials of the ANC, the National Executive Committee, the alliance components that are here, Dibulisa, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, comrades as workers who are here to celebrate the 108 years of the African National Congress. Sifuna ukuthi singabasebenzi, we are not just here to celebrate the African National Congress, celebrating 108. Kodwa okubalulekileyo is to make a reflection on what is it that the ANC must do And what is it that the African National Congress has done for the workers of this country? President Ramaphosa, abasebenzi bathi okokuqala, we welcome the resignation of Jabu Mabuza, the former ESCOM board chairperson. Ifike ngexesha kudala silbiza. You will remember that COSATU since August last year has called for the entire board of ESCOM to step down. We are saying to the rest of the board, do the honorable thing and tender your resignation and follow suit. President Ramaphosa and the entire NEC of the ANC, abasebenzi bathi, it is important ukuthi amehlo ethu ahlale kweyona nto edla umzi, the issue of unemployment in South Africa, umba we-hunger and poverty. Asikwazi uphinda sinyamezele ukudendwa kwabasebenzi kwindawo abasebenza kuzo. I-level of unemployment ihleli ku-40%. Sithongqowa mabakhawulezise basincedise ba-implemente i-Job Summit resolution, bahlale kwi-commitments zabo of creating employment in South Africa. Bathi abasebenzi eMzantsi Afrika, Mongameli, sifuna uyi-defend i-national health insurance kuba kaloku thina imbacu asinayo le nto kuthiwa yi-medical aid. Ngoko ke asifuna uphelele ezindleleni, sifuna nathi impilo efanelekileyo ekwazi ukufikeleleka kwabantu abahluphekileyo eMzantsi Afrika. Bathi abasebenzi eMzantsi Afrika, sifuna uqhubekeke khongolosa ukusinika a free public education, ukuqala kumntana ose primary school uyokuma kwase tertiary school. Abantwana bethu bazawungena ezikolweni ngoku, sifuna bakwazi ukungena ezikolweni kungakhange kubekho zingxubakaxaka. Bathi abasebenzi masikhawuleziseni ke African National Congress ukudila ne-issue yomhlaba eMzantsi Afrika, ngoba if we want to deal with issues of poverty, unemployment and inequality, we must address the issue of land in our country. The majority cannot continue to be subjects of the minority in South Africa. Sihlala phansi sisithi xa sicelebrate 108 years of the African National Congress, sifuna ukuthi pha kongxowa kwabaqashi mabaqiniseke ukuthi abasebenzi ezifameni zabo they are receiving decent living wage. We want a national minimum wage that you have promised us as the government of South Africa. Kodwa sifuna ukuthi we're moving towards a living wage. We want compliance to our progressive labor laws in South Africa. To celebrate 108 years, the city, the African National Congress is biased towards the poor and the working class, but we want to see it, we want to feel it. So COSATU says, we remain in alliance with the African National Congress. Kodwa sifuna i-ANC evayo emamelayo abasebenzi ukuba bathini na. Siyabulela.
Thank you, COSATU. The DP has taken your message very serious. We are going to ask the General Secretary of the party to come and deliver the message. I'm hoping he doesn't have too much blood in the alcohol. Let him come. Let's hope he doesn't have too much blood in the alcohol. Come, comrade, plate. Comrade.
Amandla! Viva the African National Congress, viva! Thank you, Comrade Gwede, the National Chairperson. Let me start by greeting the President of the ANC and the Republic, Comrade Ramaphosa, and all the members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, the leadership of the SACP, Comrade Losi, and the leadership of COSATU, the Ethiopian Prime Minister, other international guests who are here, and let me greet all of you, comrades. The SACP takes this opportunity to congratulate the ANC on the milestone of its 108th anniversary. The ANC played a leading role in our liberation struggle, as well as in the struggle for a better life for all, in the reconstruction and development of our country. As the SACP, we are an ally to the ANC, and we shall continue to be an ally for as long as the ANC's primary objective is that of transforming and improving the socio-economic conditions of the working class and the poor of our country. The SACP reaffirms its commitment to our strategic alliance. We pledge to continue working together in pursuit of our shared strategic objective of the struggle, the National Democratic Revolution, and it is our view that to pursue this struggle, we need maximum unity of our alliance. We must defend and deepen the gains we have made since 1994. Led by the ANC, we have expanded access to housing, electrification, clean drinking water, education at all levels, as well as confronting the scourge against the HIV, the scourge of HIV. However, we still face a number of challenges, comrades. Key amongst these is the malady of factionalism, gatekeeping, corporate capture, and other forms of corruption, mismanagement, and bad governance. Today, as the SACP, we are saying, let all ANC branches be open to all who want to join, as the ANC is a people's movement. In order to succeed in these challenges, we must unite and uproot factionalism altogether in our movement. We must deal a decisive blow to corporate capture of the structures of our movement and the state. The crippling of our public entities and looting must not go unpunished, and those who are involved in such looting must be called to account. As the SACP today, we say our revolution and our organizations are not for sale. Our people, on behalf of whom we are standing here today, yearn for a better life. We are convinced it is only the ANC that will realize this. We need a radical change to our economy so that it serves our people and not a tiny minority. This year, as COSATU also is saying, we want the amendment to the Constitution so that we have expropriation of land without compensation. We want workers' pension and provident funds to be invested to build the manufacturing base of our country so as to create jobs and not to fund vanity projects that serve the private interests of a few. If you ask us, yes, we want prescribed assets. During this year, we also want the national health insurance to begin to be implemented to develop feet. And the Alliance must unite to ensure that we defeat all those forces opposed to the national health insurance. We are against the use of illness and disease in society as a basis for profit making. as we believe that health services must be accessible to all, irrespective of one's station in society. The SACP also joins our alliance in calling for the intensification of the struggle against gender-based violence. Phansi neshimane ebulala abantu besifazane phansi. The SACP calls for tougher laws and sentences for perpetrators of violence against women, as well as having unity in action to end this scourge. As we conclude, we've just come out of our special National Congress as the SACP in December last year with a clarion call that a good communist is in the African National Congress. That's why today I'm not wearing a red color, but I'm in full colors of our movement, the African National Congress. We are looking forward to many more revolutionary years for the ANC. Amandla.
Uyatengisa plate, uyatengisa. Amanda. Awethu. With kings, regents and queens present here, let me give you the names of the four. King Zanozuko Skau, Wamambondo, ukhona hapa. King Peter Ramapulane, Wamavenda, ukhona. Regent Kosikazi Mujaji, the Rain Queen, ukhona. That's why Zamani, because the regent Khosikulu Mujaji is the Rain Queen. There is going to be floods in the Northern Cape now. Queen Katrina Esau of the Bushman clan. It's in the house Bagasti Bushman. We think it's an insult. Queen Katrina Esau of the Bushman tribe is here. Welcome here. So thank you very much for them to come. Wish there could be more and more of the kings and queens and chiefs present here, because the ANC is a people's parliament. Now, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia is here today. When we gather in the people's parliament, we're going to ask him to have a few words to the people's parliament. That is the highest honor you can ever get if you come to South Africa as a political leader from anywhere in the world. Prime Minister Sakel.
Amanda, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the African National Congress, members of the ANC National Executive Committee, leaders of the ANC Women's League, Veterans League, and the Youth League, comrades and friends, fellow South Africans. On behalf of Prosperity Party, allow me to extend warmest greetings from the Ethiopian people to the people of South Africa. On this occasion of the 180th anniversary celebration of the African National Congress, I would also like to mention how I am privileged to be in this historic and beautiful diamond city of Kimberley. The ANC was built over decades through blood and sweat, successive generation of South Africans dedicated to the cause of freedom and dignity. Today is a day to pay tribute to the fallen, and the day to give thanks for their sacrifice in the service of their beloved nation. We Ethiopians always cherish and look with utmost admiration the great heroism of South African men and women in their end apartheid. ANC today is a result of this unbroken chain of proud men and women who served their nation with honor, who fought the system of repression that was so abhorrent to the human spirit, and who suffered so that we might know freedom and dignity. On this occasion, we salute our freedom fighters such as Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo, Chris Hani, Ahmed Katarada, and many others who dedicated their lives to the struggle for the better South Africa and a better world. We also salute the current leaders and President Ramaphosa for keeping strong the democratic and progressive vision that Madiba introduced. I have no doubt, under the leadership of ANC, South Africa will continue to be a more equitable, wealthier, healthier, and a more tolerant and hopeful nation that inspires the rest of Africa. Comrade President, comrades and friends, fellow South Africans, the friendship between the people of Ethiopia and South Africa goes back decades before the establishment of formal diplomatic relations of the two countries. The people of Ethiopia and South Africa share a long history of strong bonds. Thousands of Ethiopians live in South Africa and consider it home. We are grateful for your hospitality. We are grateful for the opening your doors and hearts in the spirit of African solidarity. In Ethiopia, my administration is also building a nation that is open to new ideas, talents and markets. One that is also open to trade, because we know free movement of people and goods makes a modern economy run. Fellow South Africans will also remember that regardless of their differing political orientation at home and abroad, all successive Ethiopian governments have firmly supported the just cause of the people of South Africa for freedom and equality. In 1962, Nelson Mandela traveled to Ethiopia for 3 months of military training with an Ethiopian passport under the name of David Motsamai. In his autobiography, Madiba speaks fondly about Ethiopia as a country that inspired him to continue his struggle against apartheid. He said, and I quote, "Ethiopia always has a special place in my imagination, and the prospect of visiting Ethiopia attracted me more strongly than a trip to France, England, and America combined. I felt I would be visiting my own genesis and earthing the roots of what made me an African." Inasmuch as the inspiration that Madiba had drawn from his time in Ethiopia, we Ethiopians too have continued to be inspired by Madiba's thoughts and vision of dedicated service to humanity. His immense contribution and exemplary leadership towards the promotion of the culture of peace, tolerance, inclusiveness, and forgiveness is also a vision close to our heart. Indeed, we will always remember Madiba for his enduring values of peace and reconciliation, and his dedication and long work to freedom and justice and equal opportunity. His moral leadership, his decision to transfer power to the next generation, the moment he felt his job is done. An act that is so rare in political leadership is an abiding inspiration to current African leaders in a position of authority. The building in which Madiba was housed while undergoing his military training in Ethiopia is still standing, but far from the manner that represents the great history it witnessed. Let me seize this opportunity, Comrade President, to call upon our two countries' cooperation into developing this historic place into a site that is reflective of the legacy of Madiba and symbolic of the long-standing relations between our two countries and people. Comrade President, comrades and friends, fellow South Africans, today is one of those moments that compels us to reflect on the legacies of the past and the long history that exists between our two nations. I would like to note with satisfaction that the value of freedom, equality, and prosperity that held us together during the heroic struggle to uproot apartheid have served us as a strong foundation for the current excellent relations we have successfully established. Our relationship is based on mutual trust and confidence. It is a relationship informed by our shared vision to advance the progress and prosperity of our people and our continent as a whole. Despite the excellent achievements that we have registered, however, I'm sure comrades will agree that much remains to be done. We in Ethiopia are undergoing a comprehensive and significant reform process. We have also completed the task of bringing together almost all members of the ruling coalition EPRDF and the affiliated parties into a single national party called Prosperity. We are keen to establish a structured platform to share views and experiences with ANC. It's imperative that we enhance the level of our party-to-party relation further towards more substantive and fruitful collaboration between our two governments and towards the realization of prosperous, peaceful, and integrated Africa as envisioned in the African Union Agenda 2063. Let me use this opportunity to express my commitment that my party will continue to closely work with the ANC in the spirit of Pan-Africanism to the benefit of the peoples of both countries and through our joint continental leadership to the benefit of Africa and beyond. I wish His Excellency Comrade President Cyril Ramaphosa every success as he endeavors to move the ANC into the next stage. Long live the friendship between the people of South Africa and Ethiopia. I thank you very much.
You can give a louder applause than that. Okay. Now, sifika kuvuto ndaba. We are reaching the climax. As the President is going to deliver the NEC January 8th statement for 108th birthday of the ANC, I think it is important to appreciate the fact that yes, it is the NEC of the ANC statement, but we must appreciate the fact that isitholando ezaparangwe ANC Mamusofi uba umlangeni are part of this statement, even if they are not in the NEC. They are the Aparangwe, Twalandwe of the ANC. If veterans zethu, they are part of this movement, they are the source of wisdom, they are the source of guidance for the ANC. E-leagues zethu, all three of them, the Veterans League, the Women's League, the Youth League, are part of this statement. Now I'm going to give the President the opportunity to deliver the NEC statement. You must remember, comrades, that it is not something that is happening by accident, that we're about to finish during lunch, not at 5, not at 4, is because we are serious inculcating the buffalo time in our work, so that we start early and we finish on time. Now, there are representatives of all our provinces here, so they are part of this message. Representatives of all our provinces are here. Now I'm calling the President of the ANC, President Cyril Ramaphosa, to come on stage.
Amandla! Amandla! Viva ANC, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Viva SANCO, viva! Long live the spirit of Sol Plaiki, long live! Long live the spirit of Mem Mitas Perepere, long live! Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live! Amandla! Long live the spirit of Mayor Francis Bard, long live! Amandla! Dumelang! Goeiemiddag! Sanbonan! Abshin! Demasiari! Comrades and friends, I'd like to start off by extending our greetings to our honored guest, His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia, the Deputy President of our movement, David Dabete Mabuza, national officials of the African National Congress, members of the National Executive Committee, leaders of the ANC Women's League, the Veterans League, and the Youth League, leaders of Umkhonto Wesizwe Military Veterans Association and MK Council, and all other combatants, leaders of the SACP, COSATU, and SANCO, izithwalandwe ubaba uAndrew Mlangeni, le mess of the brain, representatives of fraternal parties, particularly from ZANU-PF, MPLA from Angola, Basotho National Party from Lesotho, Botswana Democratic Party from Botswana, All Basotho Convention from Lesotho,
to you all, the people of Northern Cape, comrades and friends, and fellow South Africans. Ons vergader hier vandag in die staat van Kimberley en die provinsie van die Noord-Kaap om die 108ste herdenking van die totstandkoming van die ANC te vier. We have come together where the coup, the sun, the Korana, Batlaping, Batloro, Magrikwa, Botswana, courageously fought against the colonial occupation of their land and the subjugation of their people. We are gathered where great leaders of our people were born and fought for our freedom. On this day and at this place, we pay tribute to the likes of Saul Blaikie, the first Secretary General of the African National Congress, and to leaders like Charlotte Maxeke, Z.R. Mahabane, Z.K. Matthews, Francis Bard, John Taulo Khaitiwi, and Mita Sepereper. We are gathered in a special place where it is still possible to hear our people converse in the oldest indigenous languages of our nation. Languages like Nju, Nama, Fu, and Kwe. We are gathered in the province where South Africa's mineral and industrial revolution began with the discovery of diamonds in Hope Town, Berkeley West, and in Kimberley. We are also gathered in the province that hosts the SKA, the Square Kilometer Array, which is the world's largest radio telescope and is also home to the largest solar energy plant of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere. Over the past week, we, the leadership of the African National Congress, have walked the streets of this province. We visited the homes of our people in this province, and we've had deep, meaningful conversations with many of our people in this province. We have spoken with you, the people of the Northern Cape, about your lives, about the challenges that you face, about your wishes and aspirations. Kuleli viki lonke besinani sihamba singena ezindlini zenu sithetha nani siva yonke ingcelo yeimpilo zenu. You have told us about the progress you have seen, the schools, the clinics that have been built, the electricity and water that now comes from your homes. You've also told us about business opportunities and the improved roads where you live. But you also told us about the problems that have to do with the lack of jobs. You told us in no uncertain terms, "Hore alisebeti, yele het nie werk nie." You also told us about the devastating drought. You also told us, and we saw for ourselves, the streets that are not maintained, the taps that do not have running water, the drains that don't work. But you also told us about alcohol abuse and crime in places where you live. You've also told us that you have confidence that the ANC will be able to address and resolve the problems that you face. In fact, as we went around, we found that the people of Northern Cape actually love the African National Congress. We heard from you about your love and affection for the ANC, and you also told us that you believe that it is only the ANC that can address the challenges that you face. Le re boditse gore ke ANC hela e ka kgonang go lokisa mathata le go rarolla mathata a bophelo ba nyena. Today, we are releasing the January 8th statement of the African National Congress National Executive Committee, which sets out the priorities and tasks of our movement for 2020. This statement speaks directly to the experiences and aspirations of the people who we have met with and spoken with over the last week. This, comrades and friends, is a decisive moment for our country as we begin a new decade, a decade of hope and a decade of expectation, and also a decade of promise and opportunity. Despite the hardships that we face, and there are many hardships that our country faces, that our people face, our nation remains united in its resolve to overcome the challenges of the present and realize Vision 2030 of the National Development Plan. We are encouraged and inspired by many young South Africans who are forging a new path of progress and achievement. We must take a moment and congratulate the matriculants of 2019 for having achieved overall pass rate for the first time in our history of more than 80%. Arba shapele matsogo. This represents progress. Much as we are facing challenges and difficulties, this represents progress that we can be proud of. We also congratulate our rugby world champions, the Springboks, for having brought home the World Rugby Cup and made South Africa proud. We also congratulate our own Miss Universe, Zozibini Tunsi, the most beautiful girl in the whole world, who is South African. Sorry, Prime Minister Abiy, we happen to have the most beautiful girl in the whole world, and she is South African, and we hope the next one will be Ethiopian. We wish you luck on that. We also want to congratulate the Ndlovu Youth Choir and many others who have shown the world what young South Africans are capable of. These are wonderful achievements that the young people of our country are achieving for our country to make our country great. We will work together to realize the enormous potential of our youth by tackling joblessness, poverty and inequality, by ending hunger and homelessness, and developing the skills that our people and our economy need. We will act with urgency and purpose. We have heard you, and we have heard you say that we must hurry up and implement our policies. You have said very clearly to us, Kauleza, work very quickly because our people are in great need. While we dare not ignore the challenges we face, our program of transformation remains ambitious, and our determination to succeed must also be unwavering. This is a pivotal period in the history of the African National Congress as we strive for social and economic freedom under challenging conditions. Just over 2 years ago, we emerged from the ANC's 54th National Conference, tasked with the responsibility to unify and unite and renew our movement. Much progress has been made, but this task remains far from complete. In the year ahead, we must make irreversible progress in building a united, ethical, and strong ANC that is able to effectively serve the people of South Africa. The fundamental goal of the African National Congress remains the creation of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous society. It has a historic mission to unite all the people of South Africa for the complete liberation of our society and of blacks in general and Africans in particular from all forms of oppression and economic exclusion. We must unite our society in order to transform it, and we must transform our society in order to unite it. In identifying and executing the tasks necessary to confront these challenges, we must know our past and understand our present and be able to chart a better future for the people of South Africa. We must honor and pay tribute to those whose struggles and sacrifices brought us freedom and democracy. We must draw guidance and inspiration from their example. This year we celebrate the centenary years of several great leaders of our nation. These include Raymond Mhlaba, Harry Gwala, Vuyisile Mini, Rusty Bernstein, and Robert Gesha. This is also the centenary of the birth of Eduardo Mondlane, the founder and the president of Frelimo, whose close relationship with ANC President Oliver Tambo laid the foundation for the joint military operations between Umkhonto Wesizwe and Frelimo fighters in Portuguese-occupied Mozambique. During the course of 2020, we will organize events to recall the achievements of these great leaders and honor their contribution to our freedom. We also mark several significant milestones in the history of the ANC, the broad liberation movement in our country. It is 200 years since the arrival of the 1820 British settlers in the Eastern Cape, an event that accelerated the process of colonial occupation and deepened the contest for land and resources. It is 65 years since the adoption of the Freedom Charter at the Congress of the People in Cape Town, representing the views and demands of the South African people The Freedom Charter sets out the fundamental vision of our democratic nation. This year will be 60 years since the Sharpeville massacre, in which 69 peaceful protesters were killed by the apartheid police, ushering in a new period of repression and resistance. It is also 60 years since the ANC and PAC were banned, driving opposition to apartheid underground and the leadership of the movement into exile. In 2020, we will be celebrating 30 years since the unbanning of the ANC, the PAC, SACP, and other organizations, and the release of Nelson Mandela and other political prisoners, which set the stage for negotiations and the transition to democracy in South Africa. These, comrades, are but just some of the milestones in a history, and may I add, a proud history characterized by courage, commitment, sacrifice, and selfless service to the people of our country. The 108 years of the existence of the ANC have been marked by advances and setbacks, progress and detours, mistakes and corrections. Our movement has shown its ability to heal and unite the people of our country, but also to heal the divisions, the ability to analyze changing conditions and adapt strategies and tactics, as well as the resilience to stay the course and keep the ANC alive under the most trying circumstances. Through their votes in the election last year, the people of South Africa signaled their clear expectation that the ANC undergo a process of renewal. We have heard and understood the message that the people's continued support for the ANC is conditional on the revitalization of the organization as an effective instrument of fundamental change. As we celebrate the 65th anniversary of the Freedom Charter, we must give effect to the profound statement that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. Our priorities this year will be informed by the demands contained in that historic document, which continues to guide everything that we do. But it will also, our approach and the priorities will also be guided by the life experiences of our people on the ground. Our first priority, comrades, is to build a capable state that serves all the people of South Africa. We will continue to restore our public institutions to a higher standard of accountability and service. It is therefore vital that government at all levels works to advance the interests of our people. Local government, which is closest to where our people live and work, must perform its functions efficiently and consistently. We have started the process of effective performance evaluation at the local government level. We will be focusing on the capabilities, the commitment and integrity of those who are deployed to serve our people at that local government level, and may I add, yes, at provincial as well as at national level. Where there is poor or no performance, there will be consequences. Already steps have been taken to evaluate the performance of our deployees. We will ensure that we root out bad performance. We will ensure that those who do not perform the duties that they are supposed to perform are dealt with, and there is consequence management. Corruption at all levels of government will stop, and the stealing of public resources and the money that should go to serve the poor will be dealt with quite severely. We must restore the integrity and the capability of the state, which has faced a number of challenges in the past few years. As part of the measures the ANC has adopted to address weaknesses in local government, we are beginning to implement the district development model to integrate planning, coordination, budgeting across all three spheres of government to drive local development. This means that national, provincial, local government must develop one plan and one budget for each district across the country. We have 44 districts and 8 metros. What this means is that each of our districts and each of our metros must have one plan and one budget. There must also be transparency where the people of our country see what the plan is and see what the budget is, and also see how that budget is being utilized so that we can end corruption at all stages. We must bridge the divide between South Africans. Our second priority, rather, is an important one, but before I get to that one, as we strengthen local government to serve the people, we also expect our communities to also play their part by executing their own responsibilities. And this is about paying for the services that are delivered by our government entities. We've got to restore the culture of payment so that we can strengthen the state and ensure that the state has enough resources to continue serving our people. Our second priority is to build a united and cohesive society. We must bridge the divide between South Africans, be they economic, social, political, or cultural. To build a united society, we must recognize the equal rights of all South Africans to share in the country's wealth and its land. We must ensure that every South African appreciates their equal right to call this country their home. Ons moet toesien dat elke Suid-Afrikaner hul gelyke reg waardeer om hierdie land tuis te roep. All South Africans must feel that they have a future and a home here. Ma-Afrika Borwa ohle a tlamehile hore ba ikutlwe hore Afrika Borwa ke lehae la bona. We need to build a non-sexist society in which all forms of gender discrimination, oppression, exploitation, and violence are eradicated. And this we intend to continue doing. We need full gender equality in all areas of life, from the home to the workplace, from the economy to the sports field. Unequal pay that is often practiced by a number of companies between men and women must come to an end. We want equal pay between men and women for the same type of job that is done. But the same goes for equal pay amongst all our people without discrimination on the basis of any form of race. We must end the exclusion and the marginalization of people with disabilities. Disabled people in our country are just as equal as all of us as South Africans. We must make this a priority that disabled people in South Africa have a space, have a place where they can work, where they can also earn a living. And we call for employers, including the state, to open up opportunities on an ongoing basis for disabled people to be economically active on a continuous basis. We need to confront discrimination, prejudice, and violence directed against members of the LGBTIQ+ community, giving real effect to the right to equality contained in our Constitution. Every one of us must act in solidarity when we see injustice, and we must individually ensure and collectively ensure that we hold accountable those who choose to discriminate and exclude others. Our third priority is to pursue investment and jobs and inclusive growth. The Freedom Charter's call that the people shall share in the country's wealth, that there shall be work, security, and that the wealth shall be shared remains relevant. The creation of jobs remains our central priority for 2020. Many of our people are unemployed. This continues to be an area of focus by the African National Congress. To achieve a far greater pace of economic growth, we will step up our investment drive, launch a massive infrastructure build program, reduce the cost of doing business, and see to the creation of jobs and expand pathways for young people into the world of work. Our intention is to create as many jobs for young people as possible. We will unlock the potential of small business, cooperatives, and the township economy. We will continue to revamp and reopen industrial parks in our townships and in our rural areas to enhance job creation. We will continue to promote sectors like manufacturing, tourism, agriculture, and the oceans economy as major areas for employment growth. More special economic zones will be opened for further employment creation, as we have seen that they are quite effective job creators. For all these efforts to succeed, we must ensure the stability of our electricity supply. This means that we must accelerate the introduction of new electricity generation by private companies. We must also find new sources of energy, such as gas and intermediate energy that we so need right now, that can be brought on ships. We must complete the measures undertaken to ensure the financial and operational stability of Eskom. We will accelerate the process of transforming Eskom into an effective and reliable electricity supplier that can operate in an open, competitive energy sector. Eskom will be restored to becoming a company that can provide energy. And I want to stress once again, those who think that we want to privatize Eskom, I want to say to you, we are not going to privatize Eskom. We are going to strengthen Eskom so that it can deliver energy as it should. Right now, yes, we understand very clearly the concerns that South Africans have about the load shedding that we continue to have almost on a daily basis. These are challenges that we are addressing. These are challenges that we will succeed in addressing. Eskom is the largest company in our country. It is too big to fail, and we will not allow Eskom to fail. Instead, we will rebuild it and support it so that it can execute its developmental mandate. At the same time, Eskom, its management and its board must continue to ensure that they maintain their power stations. Eskom's power stations, many of them are old. The new ones that we've built still have a number of design challenges, and that is why they keep on tripping and leading to load shedding. Now I will say, obviously this has a negative impact on our economy and on the lives of our people, particularly those who are in hospitals. And we therefore are urging the management, and we will support them and strengthen them to move with speed to restore, maintain those power stations, and also that the new energy that we are saying we will procure through various means should come on stream. The Deputy President will be leading the war room and working with other ministers as well as the management of Eskom and the board to ensure that Eskom is restored. And I have no doubt in my mind that we will restore Eskom. Given the effects of climate change, we must also take decisive measures to reduce our carbon footprint in line with our international commitments. This must be done in a manner that is sustainable and ensures a just transition for workers and communities that may be affected. In the end, as we do this, we want to work with our workers, with labor, to ensure that there is a just transition indeed. Water is a valuable commodity. We need to act decisively to protect our scarce source of water resources and to ensure that all people have equitable access and respond to the devastating effects of successive droughts. The drought here in the Northern Cape, in the Eastern Cape, in the Free State, in KZN and in some parts of the Western Cape has been quite severe. Here in the Northern Cape, 80% of the province is in the grip of a severe drought that has not been seen in decades. We have decided that we should act immediately by providing relief of 300 million to the Northern Cape to help with the drought. so that we can address this drought situation. Ons hoop dat dit sal baie help. Re tshepa hore thuso ena ka nnete e tla leka hore e thuse batho le bao ba lemang. And of course, our efforts to help will also extend to other provinces. Minister of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation had a long meeting with our Premier here, and they were able to find one another, and that is where we were able to come up with a decision that we need to respond with immediate effect to a province which is covered by 80% of drought effects. Such action is essential for the development of our economy and the realization of the constitutional right of all South Africans to have sufficient food and water. Our fourth priority is an effective land reform program. The struggle to return the land to this country, to all the people of South Africa, remains a historical and economic imperative. We recall the words of our leader, Saul Plaatje, the first Secretary General of the ANC, who said at the time that the Land Act would create conditions, if not amounting to extermination, yet designed to enslave the natives of this country. That tyrannical mandate is scattering multitudes of natives from their homes. They may enter either into perpetual bondage on the farm or spend a sunless life in the unwholesome mine. Close quote. That is how Saul Plaatje saw the devastating effect of the Land Act in 1913. It is to address this persistent injustice that we are proceeding with the implementation of an accelerated land reform program to provide land to those who work it and who need it, including young people and women. We urge all ANC structures and all South Africans to have their say on the proposed amendments to Section 25 of the Constitution on the issue of expropriation of land without compensation. What this means, comrades, is that we are going to move ahead with the decision that was taken at our 54th conference to expropriate land without compensation, because land still remains the sore and the wound that our people still carry over all these years. All legislative efforts to accelerate the land to the people will be done in terms of our Constitution and in terms of all the provisions of our laws. We will support those who have acquired agricultural land. The return of the land will happen in a manner that promotes economic growth and sustains food security. Our fifth priority is to eradicate poverty and improve people's lives. We will intensify both job creation and other measures to improve the lives of the poor people in our country. This includes the provision of electricity, water, sanitation, and other services to those South Africans who still do not have access to them. As we walked around in this province, we saw and realized that yes, there are still a number of challenges, and one of those is housing. Housing remains a major challenge in this province. Where we went around, we found that up to 6 families live in a 4-bedroomed house, and that is something that has to be addressed and we are going to address it. We also found that a number of sheikhs, informal settlements, are coming up on an ongoing basis. And we've now developing a plan to come up with a catalytic project to eradicate informal settlements here in the Northern Cape and utilize this province as a very effective model of what we need to do around the country. We will work to reduce the cost of living for the poor and working people generally through better public transport and lower costs of electricity. We will work to improve access to all to quality health care, focusing in particular on the introduction of the National Health Insurance. Our sixth priority is education and skills for a changing world. The matric results released this week demonstrate that South Africa has made great strides in improving educational outcomes over the last 25 years, particularly in townships and rural schools. However, we must do more to effectively prepare South African youth for the society and economy of the future. We will continue to adapt the curriculum to prepare learners for the fourth industrial revolution. The private sector and partners must work with training authorities to develop skills that our economy needs. Our seventh priority is social cohesion and safe communities. We will ensure that our law enforcement agencies are supported so that they can investigate thoroughly and prosecute effectively without fear or favor. We will intensify our efforts to end state capture in all its forms, to ensure those responsible are held accountable and that all the money that was stolen from government or public bodies is recovered. Tšhelete eo e utswitseng e laba gore e buya. Re kwa e tota eo tšhelete yo tshwiwao gore e buye. Le tšhelete ya lushaka a se tšhelete ya motho tifeits. We will strengthen the ability of the ANC's Integrity Commission to act decisively without fear or favor against those within our ranks who are implicated in corrupt activity. We will work to make our streets, our homes and communities safer through improved police visibility, more effective training of police, and greater involvement of community policing and safety forums in fighting crimes. Our final priority is to build a better Africa, a better world. Africa is poised on the threshold of a new era of integration, growth, and prosperity development. But to seize these opportunities requires concerted effort to silence the guns. We want to commend our brother here, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, on being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for 2019, affirming the determination of the people of Ethiopia and of the continent to strive for lasting peace. In advancing African unity and solidarity, we must work to resolve conflicts in Libya, South Sudan, Somalia, the Eastern DRC, and other regions that are affected by terrorism and unrest. The countries of Africa need to be united in support of multilateralism and in the reform of global institutions. And in line with the decisions of our 54th conference, we will intensify actions to support and to act in solidarity with our Palestinians, brothers and sisters, the Sahrawi brothers and sisters, the Kurdish people, and all people who suffer occupation, oppression, and discrimination. In the context of the pursuit of global peace, the ANC is concerned by the provocative military actions of the United States in Iraq that resulted in the Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. We urge all parties to exercise maximum restraint. The international community is called upon to make every effort to ensure that the crisis in that region is resolved peacefully. On the 30th anniversary of the ANC's return from exile, preparations are in progress to bring back to South Africa the mortal remains of former ANC Secretary General Dumano Kwe and former ANC Women's League President Florence Moposho, as well as to honor the bravery of the Lutuli detachment during the Wanki and Sipololo campaigns. Comrades and friends, based on these priorities, the ANC has identified a number of tasks that should guide the work of all ANC leaders, members, public representatives, and supporters in 2019. During this year, we will and must renew the ANC as the most effective force for social change, rebuilding branches as centers for community development, and rolling out a mass political education campaign. We must and will build a movement that is united in action by healing the divisions within our organization and alliance, and placing the interests of the people above all other interests. We will prepare for a decisive local government mandate by strengthening local government, reviewing the selection of local government and candidates, and meeting with communities on their needs and concerns. We must mobilize social partners to grow and transform the economy of our country by focusing all efforts on increasing investment, stimulating growth, developing skills development, as well as removing all impediments for greater economic activity. We will strengthen governance and tackle corruption by continuing to rebuild public institutions and ensuring that all appointees are fit for purpose and demonstrate the highest levels of integrity. We will have to end and must work very hard to end gender-based violence and femicide by mobilizing our communities, civil societies, faith-based organizations, and others to confront violence against women and children in all forms. And this is where our ANC branches, our ANC leadership at all levels need to devote time, energy, and effort. The shame and the scourge of gender-based violence in our country must be brought to an end. Men must be brought to stop abusing women, raping women, and killing the women and the young women of our country. The ANC must take the lead in bringing this to an end. I want to applaud the ANC Women's League for having taken up this challenge and has worked extremely hard to raise the level of consciousness and has campaigned very hard. Malibongwe! Malibongwe! We thank the leadership of the ANC Women's League for all it continues to do in this regard. We will work for peace, integration and development in Africa by working with fraternal organizations across the continent for the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to advance peace and stability and to promote sustainable growth and development. Comrades and friends, on this occasion, the ANC honors the courage, the dedication and selfless service of those veterans, stalwarts and activists who passed away over the past year. We dip our banner in honor of the comrades who have departed. His Majesty King Mpendulo Zwelonke Sigcawu is one of those that we pay tribute to and honor. Comrade Ben Turok, Rhoda Jumat, Bavelile Hlongwa, Ibrahim Mula, Jumisani Kumalo, Mfengu Makalima, Thuliswa Nkabinde Kawe, Eddie Naya, General Isaac Lisiba Mapoto, Nomhle Nkonyeni, Johnny Clegg, Mam Agnes Dlamini, Mahang Mereki Polokgane, Thandi Ndlovu, Thobile Mhlalo, Mam Joyce Jili Mkhize, Duma Ndleleni, Sindisiwe Ndlovu, Andile Gumbi, Rose Nkondo, Sandile Dikeni, David Kolwane, Dorothy Masuku, Hugh Lewin, Richard Maponya, and Archie Lucas. These are some of those comrades who made a contribution for whom we dip our flag to them today. We also join the people of Zimbabwe and the continent in mourning the passing of President Robert Mugabe, an icon of African liberation. May their lives and their contributions continue to inspire all of us as we continue with their work. Fellow South Africans, the fundamental transformation of South African society and the economy requires the efforts, ingenuity, and energy of all South Africans working together in pursuit of a shared vision. We therefore call on the workers of South Africa to unite and intensify the struggle for a living wage and decent working conditions, and to be partners in the urgent task of promoting investment, growing an inclusive economy, and creating jobs. We call on young people and students to lead the skills revolution and to be champions of innovation and entrepreneurship. We call on the women of our country to remain at the forefront of struggles for equality and justice, to challenge patriarchy in whatever form it takes. We call on civil society formations to continue to champion the values of our democratic constitution and to fight for social justice and equality. We call on faith-based organizations and the leaders to continue to provide spiritual and moral guidance to society and to care for the poor and the marginalized and the mistreated in our country. We call on all farmers, farm workers, and traditional leaders to work together in support of meaningful land and agrarian reform and to build relations of trust and respect within rural communities. We call on business leaders to support the national effort to grow an inclusive economy, through greater investment in productive sectors of the economy and by providing and promoting ethical business and progressive labor practices, and to get off corruption within the ranks of the private sector as well. We call on cultural workers, artists and intellectuals to actively contribute to social cohesion and nation building by giving expression to the great diversity of views, traditions, cultures and practices of the South African people. Lastly, comrades, we call on South African people to join us as we advance towards a better society, a society that is founded on principles of unity, democracy, non-racialism, non-sexism and equality. In recognition of the tasks set by the 54th National Conference of the ANC and the ideals for which our movement was founded, and in recognizing the challenges that we face and the tasks that we must undertake, the ANC National Executive Committee declares 2020 as the year of unity, socio-economic renewal, and nation building. That is what the ANC National Executive Committee believes that we should focus on this year: unity, socio-economic renewal, and the continued building of our nation. And with that we say, let freedom reign. Amandla. The ANC lives. Forward with the African National Congress, forward. Forward with the people of North Cape, forward. Forentu medi mense van die Noordkap, forentu. Forentu medi Noordkap, forentu. Thank you very much for being at this celebration, and we say happy birthday, ANC, happy birthday.
Amanda. And Max. Amanda, awethu, ngoku I'm going to give Comrade Mbalula to run the Razzmatazz session. The Razzmatazz session. Number 2, in line with the Buffalo time, we are going to be concluding quick and celebrate. But as we do that, please, let's go home safe. I ask Comrade Mbalula, what is urgent? He said he's urging all of us not to drink under the influence. Comrade Max, I'm giving over to you now. We must not drink under the influence. Parents, make sure that you take your children with you. We don't want to have children who are disappearing and getting lost in our celebration. Bucks?
Amanda! Amanda! Ayeye North Cap, ayeye! Comrade Zamani and your PC, you did very well. This stadium seated takes 15,000. With everyone on the floor, we've got 25,000 people and in the overflow. Ayeye Northern Cape, ayeye! Thank you very much. Now we invite the President and his Twalandwe and the NEC to cut the cake. Mr. President, lead the officials and Utatu Mlangeni and the Deputy President, immediately after cutting of the cake, will propose a toast. Come closer, comrades, NEC members. The cake will be donated to the old age home here in Khalishiwi. ANC 108 cake. Ayeye ANC, ayeye. Ayeye ANC, ayeye. Thank you, comrades, for being so disciplined in the sun and being loyal members of the African National Congress. Can we roll out the banner as we ready ourselves for the final countdown? Let's count the cutting of the cake from 10, Deputy President, over to you. Propose the toast.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The first toast goes to the unity of the ANC. Cheers. The second toast goes to the unity of the alliance. Cheers. The third and the last toast goes to development and prosperity. Cheers. Amanda. Thank you.
Amanda, we now invite something Soweto. And TK Dlamini and Rory Sang take over. The President and the NEC entourage, you can take leave. Amanda! Viva Northern Cape, viva! Okay, comrades, I'm told there is a free Wi-Fi here in the stadium. Free Wi-Fi. ANC 108. ANC 108. Those comrades who did not get food in the morning, you will get food in your buses as you go back. Siyazwana maktabani. Angisho sonke sidlile la. Everybody is catered for. So if you didn't get food, you will get it when you go back on your buses. Iyatlisa ANC, iyatlisa.